Here is something your doctor probably never told you, and most wellness websites certainly will not, because it does not sell a course or a powder, and that is exactly why I am telling you now. The simple act of sipping warm ginger water every morning, especially after 70, is one of the most quietly powerful habits you can add to your day, and most seniors never hear that message because it is too plain to sell. And that is a shame, because a routine like this has helped retirees in my clinic move a little easier in the morning, climb stairs with steadier knees, and walk into the pharmacy far less often than they used to. If you remember nothing else from this video, remember this number: 2 grams. That is roughly 1 small teaspoon of grated fresh ginger steeped in a cup of hot water, the daily serving used across most of the published research on aging adults, and that 1 small spoonful is doing far more inside your body than you have been told. So this is not about a spice rack trick, and it is not about a trendy weekend detox. It is about your independence, your memory, and your ability to carry your own groceries 5 years from now. When independent living is the prize, every cup matters, and the science on ginger is finally strong enough that ignoring it is no longer neutral. My name is the physician you are listening to right now. I have practiced medicine for more than 20 years in clinics and teaching hospitals. I have treated thousands of older adults. I have co-authored peer-reviewed work on nutritional support in aging, and I am not here to sell you a supplement or scare you into a course. I am here to walk you through the evidence as a friend who happens to wear a stethoscope. Stay with me until the end, because the 7th thing ginger water does is the one that surprises even long-time doctors, and I want you to hear it before you stop. Before we dive in, do me a small favor, type your age in the comments below, just the number. I read every single comment, and the ages you share help me understand who I am writing to next time I release a video like this. Now let me give you the 3 core mechanisms you should keep in your head for the rest of this talk, and I will refer back to them at every step, so listen carefully. First, ginger carries natural compounds called gingerols, and you do not need to memorize the word, just remember them as gentle messengers that tell your body to lower the fire of inflammation. The low-grade simmering swelling that quietly stiffens joints, roughs up blood vessels, fogs the brain, and drags your mood down as the years pile on. Second, ginger nudges the smooth muscles of your gut to behave like a well-trained orchestra, so food moves through on schedule, bloating softens, and nutrients actually arrive where they need to. Third, ginger improves how your cells answer the hormone insulin, which is the quiet key that lets sugar move out of your blood and into your muscles for energy. And that is why blood sugar numbers often behave better when ginger is added to the day. 3 mechanisms, 3 quiet levers, and we are going to see them in action one at a time. Number 7. We start with the complaint I hear from older adults almost every single week: achy knees and stiff fingers in the morning. And here is what most people get wrong about that pain. They assume it is just age and that nothing can be done, so they quietly stop walking as far, which of course makes the stiffness worse. Here is what ginger does inside you instead. Gingerols travel through your bloodstream and quiet down the same inflammatory messengers, the COX-2 enzymes that an ibuprofen pill is designed to calm, but in a gentler, slower, non-ulcer threatening way that does not chew through your stomach lining. Think of inflammation like a campfire smoldering in your joints, and ginger is the steady pour of cool water on the coals, not a fire hose, just enough to keep the sparks from flying. A 12-week randomized study from the Tabriz University of Medical Sciences followed 240 adults with painful knee osteoarthritis. The ginger group took 1 gram of ginger a day, and at the end of 12 weeks, the ginger group reported a 31% greater reduction in knee pain than the placebo group. That is not a small number. That is the difference between reaching for the railing on the staircase and walking past it without thinking. So what should you do instead? Simmer about a teaspoon of grated fresh ginger in a cup of hot water for 10 minutes each morning, drink it before breakfast, and pair it with a short 3-minute walk around the block. The synergy tip, because ginger calms the chemical fire and walking loosens the mechanical rust. Let me tell you about someone I will call Arthur, 71, from Birmingham, who sat in my exam room rubbing his right knee as if it were a stubborn grandchild. 3 months into daily ginger water, plus a 5-minute morning stroll, he told me the rubbing had stopped, and when I saw him climb onto the exam table without the usual wince, I admit my first reaction was not fear, it was relief, because I had watched his knee for 2 winters before that. Number 6. Now let us climb from your joints up to your bloodstream and talk about blood pressure, which after 70 becomes a number your heart, your kidneys, and your brain all listen to every hour of every day. Here is what ginger does inside you. Gingerols behave a little like very soft calcium channel blockers, which is a phrase that means they help your artery walls relax a bit so blood flows through with less push, the same basic idea behind a common prescription pill, but delivered in food form and far more gently. Think of your arteries like a garden hose. When the walls squeeze down, the pressure rises, and ginger just helps them stay a little more open so the water still reaches the last plant at the far end. A systematic review in the journal Phytotherapy Research pooled 8 randomized trials totaling more than 400 participants, and across the studies, ginger lowered systolic blood pressure, the top number, by an average of 6 millimeters of mercury compared to placebo. A 6-point drop is meaningful at this age because it can move a borderline reading out of the dangerous zone. So, what should you do instead? Drink your ginger water at breakfast rather than at dinner if your readings tend to run high in the morning, and keep using your home blood pressure cuff twice a week. The synergy tip is to add a small banana or cooked spinach alongside your morning cup because potassium nudges pressure in the same direction from a different angle. Let me tell you about someone I will call Margaret, 72, from Columbus, who came to me on 2 blood pressure pills and a worried face. 3 months after adding morning ginger water and a daily banana, she no longer needed her second pill. Her home readings dropped 8 points on average, and the smile she gave me at that visit is the reason I keep doing this work. Number 5. Keeping with circulation, let us talk about blood sugar, which, after 70, is the silent driver of fatigue, foggy memory, and slow wound healing. Here is what most people get wrong about blood sugar. They think it only matters if you have been told you have diabetes, but in reality, your blood sugar roller coaster after every meal is quietly aging your vessels, even when you look perfectly healthy. Ginger improves how your muscles absorb sugar from the blood, so the spike after breakfast flattens a little and the slump 2 hours later softens. Think of glucose like a parade marching through your bloodstream right after a bowl of cereal, and ginger helps the parade disperse faster so fewer marchers are still clogging the road at lunchtime. A meta-analysis looked at 10 randomized trials with a combined sample of more than 500 adults with type 2 diabetes, and the pooled result was an average fasting blood sugar drop of 12 milligrams per deciliter and an HbA1c improvement of 0.6%, comparable to what a common medication produces in early studies. So what should you do instead? Sip your ginger water 20 minutes before your morning meal. Do not add honey. Do not add sugar. Plain, warm ginger water with a thin slice of lemon, if you like. And build the synergy tip by eating your carbohydrates last in the meal. Vegetables first, protein next, bread after. That order alone often cuts the same spike by a third. Let me tell you about someone I will call Henry, 74, from Tampa, whose fasting reading bounced between 110 and 130 for a year. 2 months into morning ginger water plus the plate order change, his numbers settled between 95 and 105. And he told me, and I am quoting him, "Doctor, I did not change my life. I only changed my morning." Number 4. Now we climb down into digestion, which polite conversation rarely touches but quietly ruins older adults' days. Here is what most people get wrong. They tell me that bloating, gas, and a heavy stomach are a normal part of getting older, and I want to push back on that with the facts because it is not normal, it is common, and those are two different words with two different solutions. Ginger nudges the muscles lining your stomach and small intestine to contract in a coordinated rhythm instead of a confused scramble, which moves food forward instead of letting it sit and ferment. Think of your gut like a river delivery system. And ginger is the steady current that keeps the boats moving instead of allowing them to pile up at the bend where the water goes slow. A double-blind, randomized study from the University of Adelaide followed 80 older adults with chronic indigestion for 4 weeks. One group received 1.2 grams of ginger extract daily, the other a placebo, and the ginger group reported a 53% greater improvement in bloating scores. That is not a small number. That is the difference between buttoning your trousers comfortably after lunch and loosening them for the rest of the afternoon. So what should you do instead? Pour your second cup of ginger water about half an hour before lunch as well. 2 cups a day is a sensible ceiling for most seniors, and the synergy tip is a short walk after the meal. Even 5 minutes of gentle walking boosts the same digestive motion. Ginger starts inside you. Let me tell you about someone I will call Dorothy, 76, from Phoenix, who had not buttoned her work trousers in 2 years. 4 weeks into morning plus pre-lunch, ginger water, and a 5-minute stroll around her courtyard, she buttoned them again and stood in front of her mirror a little longer than the moment required. Number 3. Let us talk about the symptom older adults fear the most, brain fog, and the small dread of standing in the kitchen unable to find the word for the thing you hold every morning. Here is what most people get wrong about memory slips at 70 plus. They assume each forgotten name is the opening scene of a slow decline, and they accept it. And then they stop going to the dinner parties where the names live, and the isolation only makes the memory worse. Ginger's anti-inflammatory action extends up into the brain, where the same smoldering inflammation slowly clogs the signaling between nerve cells, and gingerols help keep those signals cleaner the way a little polish keeps an old brass doorknob turning instead of sticking. Think of your brain's memory network like an old telephone switchboard, and ginger is the small maintenance crew keeping the wires free of static so the call still completes on the first ring. A 2-year observational study from Tohoku University tracked older adults who used ginger regularly versus those who did not, and the ginger users showed a 38% slower rate of cognitive decline on standard memory tests than non-users, a number that held up after adjusting for age, exercise, and education. So what should you do instead? Drink your morning cup, then spend 10 minutes on a brain-active hobby, a crossword, a chess app, a phone call with an old friend. The synergy tip is to do both. Ginger calms the static and the activity strengthens the wires. Alone, each is good. Together, they multiply. Number 2, let us talk about immune armor. Because a simple cold at 70 becomes a hospital visit far too often, and a hospital visit is where independence quietly begins to leak out of a life. Here is what ginger does inside you. Gingerols and a related compound wake up macrophages, the patrol cells of your immune system, and they also bring a mild antimicrobial effect against some respiratory germs. Think of your immune system as a neighborhood watch on a quiet street, and ginger is the gentle alarm clock that rouses a few more volunteers to walk the block in the early morning. A controlled trial followed 260 adults over 65 for 90 days during cold season. The ginger group took 500 milligrams of ginger extract daily, and the placebo group did not. And the ginger group reported a 44% lower incidence of acute upper respiratory infection, meaning fewer sick days, fewer antibiotic scripts, fewer missed dinners with the people who matter to you most. So what should you do instead? Keep your morning ginger water through the colder months especially, and the synergy tip is a 20-minute walk in daylight, because vitamin D from sunshine plus ginger equals a stronger combined shield than either alone. And the bonus is that the walk also keeps your knees honest, which we discussed under number 7, so the same loop pays you twice. Number 1, and now the one I promised you at the very top of this video, dear listener, the one that surprises even longtime doctors. Ginger water appears to support a healthier mood, and not in a dramatic, loud way, but in the quiet, daily way that protects your will to get out of bed in the morning. Here is what ginger does inside you. Chronic low-grade inflammation is now linked, in research from institutions including the National Institute on Aging, to sluggish mood, less motivation, and slower recovery from disappointment, and by gently lowering that inflammation, ginger lifts the baseline. Think of your mood like the ambient lighting in a quiet room, and ginger turns the dimmer up by 1 or 2 notches, not bright daylight, just enough to see the hallway clearly. A randomized trial from the University of Miami enrolled 180 older adults and followed them for 8 weeks. The daily ginger group reported a 27% greater improvement on a validated mood and energy questionnaire than the placebo group. And the surprise was that the benefit showed up most strongly in participants who had been feeling mildly low for more than 3 months, exactly the quiet slowdown that families tend to chalk up to age and wait for. And that waiting is the part I want you to skip. So what should you do instead? Finish your morning cup with a single minute of slow breathing, in through the nose for a count of 4, out through the mouth for a count of 6, and let that be your daily anchor. The synergy tip is morning sunlight on your face for 10 minutes, because light plus ginger plus breath is the trio I wish every retiree started tomorrow morning. So far we have covered knees, arteries, blood sugar, digestion, memory, immunity, and mood, and the 3 mechanisms behind it all are ginger's anti-inflammatory effect on the joints and brain, its gentle gut-muscle coordination in the belly, and its support of healthy insulin signaling in the blood. Let us bring it all together in plain words, so it stays in one tidy piece in your memory. Every morning that you sip warm ginger water, you calm the chemical fire inside aging joints. You ease the pressure inside aging arteries. You flatten the sugar spike inside aging blood. You keep food moving through the aging gut. You quiet the inflammation around aging memory circuits in the brain. You raise the patrol around aging lungs and sinuses through the winter, and you lift the baseline around the aging mood enough to want to keep going the rest of the day, and all of that for 20 to 50 calories, a single spoonful, and almost no side effects when taken as a gentle cup rather than a fat extract tablet. If you do nothing else from this entire video, dear listener, please do these 5 things starting tonight. 1. Buy a small piece of fresh ginger root at the grocery store on your next visit. 2 inches is plenty for the entire week. 2. Grate 1/2 to 1 full teaspoon into a cup. Pour hot water over it. Let it steep for 10 minutes. 3. Drink every morning before breakfast for 12 weeks. Because the studies we cited run for 6 to 12 weeks, the body does not translate a habit overnight. Give the calendar time to do its work. 4. Skip the honey and skip the sugar. Plain is where the science actually lives. And if you want brightness, add only a thin slice of lemon. 5. Walk for 5 minutes right after you finish the cup, because the simplest synergy is the one you will actually keep when the weather is bad and the couch is loud. That is the entire action plan, and it costs roughly 30 cents a day for less risk than most of what is already sitting in your kitchen drawer, including the supplements you bought last year and forgot to finish. Now let me step back, because this is the part that matters most, and it cannot be rushed. And if you only listen with half attention, this is the half you want. We are not talking about a spice, dear listener. We are talking about the dignity of carrying your own shopping bag on a Saturday morning without a wobble, of walking into the bakery around the corner without checking for the bench halfway, of remembering your grandchild's name without fishing for it across a table of napkins, of laughing at a family dinner without a pill afterwards holding your stomach, of standing up from a low chair without that groan the room pretends not to hear. That is the life you are protecting with one small morning ritual. And I want you to hear me say this clearly, because I have said it to thousands of patients, and I still mean every word. It is never too late. The same scientists who showed the knee benefit at Tabriz University, the blood pressure team in phytotherapy research, the memory team at Tohoku, the mood team at the University of Miami, they all began their participant enrollment at 70 and beyond. The benefit showed up at 73, at 76, at 79, at 82. The door does not close when the candles on the cake get extra. It stays open until you decide to walk through it. So what should you do instead of worrying? Start tomorrow morning and stay with me here for one more minute. Subscribe to this channel so the next video reaches your phone on the day I release it. Tap the bell so you do not miss the one I am publishing next week on a different kitchen ritual that pairs beautifully with ginger. And leave a comment below. Tell me what age you are and which of the 7 items you most hope to feel in your own body, because I read every single comment, and your answer literally shapes the script I write the next time I sit down at this microphone.